And welcome to Between the Posts. Round 2 is in the books, of course, the Anzac Day round. I'm your host, Tommy Javor, joined by Lachie Gould. Welcome, Lachie.
Yeah, thank you, Tommy. It's great to be here.
It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because we've been off for 2 weeks, which is the third week back now, and we've had round 2, mate. What did you get up to in your off time? Well, no footy. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. Obviously, gather around and then caught up with the family, so I had to do that, which was good. And then decided to come back, which was always good fun.
Yeah, beautiful, of course, and a bit of Easter in there as well.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I had a pretty low-key time off. Just took off to Los Angeles and took the kids to Disneyland, and then closed it out with 6 days in Las Vegas, where I didn't gamble, believe it or not. And of course got to see John Cena go 17 times, become the greatest of all time. But this is a footy show, not a wrestling show, mate. And speaking of football, my favourite round, I flew back for 2 days to get back for Thursday night footy training going into Friday, because for me, apart from winning a grand final, playing on Anzac Day it's the quintessential moment for a footballer in my book. You were there as the commentator on Anzac Day for Salisbury North versus Payneham. 2 clubs I desperately love. Tell us your thoughts on the day, mate.
Yeah, it was an honour. The Anzac Day ceremony before the match, it's always very moving, and then after that, the game was absolutely ferocious and really, really good to watch. But the crowd had really gathered up.
Huge crowd, wasn't there? 2,000 to 3,000.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was a really, really big crowd, so it was good to see. And yeah, the atmosphere was amazing. It was a really good game. It was a really good game and a really good day.
Yeah, it was a great game. You could see some of the shots there, and just what the effort that was gone to by both clubs. Thanks to Payneham for agreeing to play on Anzac Day, and you know, even everything down to the stenciling on the oval, the mayor being there, the federal members. It was a tremendous day, and I was privileged. I've MC'd over 200 events, TJMC for hire, of course. Did this one for free. The most nervous I've ever been in my life. 8 minutes work, I was pooping me dacks, for lack of a better term, because I just didn't want to get this one wrong. Obviously, I only spent 6 years in the service, just never actually served overseas or anything. But to those people who have served, obviously you've got family members. My grandfather was captured and prisoner of war. My wife's father was shot down in an aeroplane. I can only think of the terror that would feel. Survive for our freedoms, and for all of you Anzacs out there, thank you so much. We wouldn't be without you or the opportunities you've given us. We're forever grateful. My day started, mate, at the dawn service at Salisbury, and again, you'll see some photos. Just absolutely outstanding to see the connection. We talk about Channel 9 Adelaide Footy League connecting communities. Well, the Salisbury Footy Club, the Salisbury North Footy Club, and the Para Hills Footy Club all out. And again, I didn't get a chance to get all of them together because I kind of rushed around post-service, so can I get a quick photo? But to see you guys out there supporting the Anzacs and then playing games later that day, full credit to all the Adelaide Footy League's clubs who do stuff and celebrate Anzac Day.
Yeah, it was brilliant to see those come through, and it's just absolutely fantastic that everyone gets out and supports their diggers and supports our Anzacs. It's really, really important.
Beautiful. Mate, of course, round 2, we're going to be moving into round 3, which is, of course, the Real Stakes round.
Yes, of course. Remember, support your mates, not the stakes.
That's visit realstakes.com.au, and yes, you have your own first ever catchphrase, mate. I'm proud of you. You nailed it. Absolutely beautiful. A very important round, and we'll be touching a lot on that throughout the episode, and then again next week, and you'll be mentioning it in commentary a lot this week. Mate, we've got some absolutely tremendous sponsors. We thank them, of course, e-bikes, Customs to Fit, ORTC report, ORTC, and where are we today, mate?
We're at the Gully, and it's absolutely fantastic. I can't wait for my coffee. That's coming shortly. It was absolutely brilliant last week, and I'm going to stick around and have a bit of lunch as well.
Yeah, beautifully done. Of course, all our regular segments will be on this week's show. I shouldn't need to look down and read the fact that the Division 1 men's report, where you're joining me, mate, and you're at so many of those games, so I think that really adds something to the Division 1 men's report. Beck's been and gone on her all Division women's report, which is fantastic. Our Division specialist today, I can see him out the corner of my eye, actually, and I always get told, don't look off screen, but the great Jad Gosson's doing some Div 6 stuff with us. What else have we got, Locke?
Yeah, we got the Farmers Leap Coach of the Week, the Mark and Goal of the Week, and of course, what caught our eye. It's always a great fun to have a look at that.
It's going to be a huge episode. Stick with us. We'll be back with more Between the Posts. And it's time for the BTR Excavations Division 1 report with Tommy Javor and Lachie Gould. How good is Division 1?
Oh, it's so good. I love this league. It's absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to see what you've got to think about it, Tommy.
Well, mate, I mean, you're at 2 games on the weekend. You're at the Anzac Day game, which we've talked about earlier in the show. And then again, you saw an absolute thriller decided by less than a goal. But let's get into the actual format. Of course, we start with our Stream Team game of the round, which you were at, mate. It was Salisbury North, the Hawks, 15-13-102. Payneham Norwood Union Falcons, 12-880. The man we're going to look at is Adam Deacon, number 10 from Salisbury North, who you, at the end of the game, gave a pair of size 4 slides to. He's a size 13, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Take us through the day itself a little bit, mate.
Well, just on that, Deeks has actually requested a new pair. He's reached out to us and gone, I'd like a new pair.
Fair enough, too.
But no, the game was absolutely brilliant. Really good game of footy to watch. There was Callum Hay was really cleaning off half back as well. Yep. But yeah, Salisbury North were just able to use their little bit of class and get over the top of Payneham in the end of the day.
Yeah, Payneham, obviously, we've tipped them to right up the top end in the top 3. And they were up. They led by a goal at half time. So, you know, fair enough. And you tipped them. You did tip them to win.
Yeah, I did.
I did tip the Hawks, my boys. But Salisbury North, really strong connection, a really strong group, committed, played good team football, didn't they? Yeah,
they really did. I'm not quite sure. I mean, obviously I've seen them now for their 2 games. I wasn't quite sure what to expect heading into Anzac Day, and I was really surprised with the way they played. Pleasantly surprised. I thought they played a really great brand of footy, and the Falcons were taught a little bit of a lesson.
Yeah, I think what you can expect from Salisbury North is an honest contribution from all on the field each time you come up against them. And if everyone plays their role, then crazy things can happen in Div 1. I think Div 1 is a very exciting competition. Let's look at those goal kickers. It was Deacon with 3, Ant Hellabout with 3, Costanzo, Richards, Sharp and Holland all with 2. Great to see Jake Holland kick a couple of goals as well. Now officially a better footballer than his dad, Sean, former medalist. And for Payneham, Taj Rahui, Tom Wagner and Mac Bauer all kicked 3. So, it was actually a high-scoring affair early as well. I think it was 6-5, just about, something like that at quarter time. And it was off to a flyer, the game, wasn't it? Crisp skills.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. There were quite a lot of crisp skills. We were expecting a little bit of nerves potentially from the players just because of the occasion, but they really didn't show any of that at all. And the skills were really quite high for a game that was such a momentous day.
Yep, let's look. The margins were Salisbury North by 11 points at the quarter. Payneham, as I said, leading at half-time by a goal. Salisbury North, 16-point lead at three-quarter time, ultimately winning by 23 points. Some of those other players you didn't see in the best players in the awards or in the votes. Bob Russo again in ruck. He's a beast that just moves beautifully. I think I mentioned it previously. He high jump 194 in school. Could have gone to the Olympics, but didn't. So, won as many Olympic golds as I did. And job of the captain, Geordie O'Brien. He's a 30-touch machine, isn't he? Yeah, he absolutely is. He's good for 30 every single week, so he really does contribute to the team and to the boys he's got out there with him. Yeah, for Payneham, Mac Bauer, extremely dangerous early. Matty Nunn, first game back, he'll get better for the run, but he also contributed. Giannini good, and Tyler Sparknell, the club really enjoyed his game. Mackenzie didn't get the club best players, but I thought Mackenzie, probably after quarter time, was very good as a distributor. That's interesting because Mackenzie was a sneaky little shoe-in to end up going with 1 vote. We didn't end up going down that route in the end, but I tell you what, I thought he was far and away Payneham's best player. Yep. Let's look at the awards. The Moseley voucher for best team man was that man, Callum Hay, evergreen. I think he's not actually as old as Adam Jeffries. Stink mentioned a couple of times in commentary. He's actually only early 30s. He played for Salisbury North in that 2013 Div 1 Grand Final. He was actually only 21 then, so he might be 34 now. And PT, super fit and thoroughly won his position. Yeah, thoroughly. Second best player on the ground behind Deacon, comfortably. I'm not sure if it's yours or Adam's. The magic moment, and it was Dion Lawler. And last but not least, our best on ground Belgravia New Balance voucher and Archie size 4 slides went to Adam Deacon, as we'd already mentioned. The player of the year votes for that e-bike. How good's the e-bike? Oh, I cannot wait to see who wins this. I'm going around there to see if I can have a cheeky go. I wish I was good at footy and I could win the e-bike. Get little Lachie up there on the dinky. God, we could have some fun. But let's get serious here. 1 vote, Ant Hellbout, who was fantastic with his 3 goals. 2 votes, Cal Hay. And best on ground, Adam Deacon. A huge game. We see Payneham at 0-2 now. I think it's going to come for them. They're a good thing for me. They're still very, very dangerous team.
Yeah, they are. It'll come together for them. Jeremy Cheney's a very good coach. They're a very good team. But there are maybe amber, maybe green with a slight yellow tinge alarm bells going off. Not quite amber.
I think the return of Frosty Ansell, Sam Morris and a couple others, and they get back to full strength at home, I think that once they get their game going, they're incredibly dangerous. So wish them all the best. Let's have a look, though, at our next game, mate. And it was the other Anzac Day game. Again, these clubs doing very, very well. And Broadview, I was at Broadview last year commentating an outstanding game last year. And I'm sure they put on all the bells and whistles. They are very respectful of their past. And they had the Anzac Day Guernseys. Broadie 7-9-51. PAC 14-8-92. Your premiership tip.
Hang on. I said grand final.
Well, mate, own it at the moment because they are looking good. And they're looking good from someone a former coach who... He must be sneaking up forward. Number 4, Craig Pitt, 6 goals, best on ground, making every post a winner, isn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely is. He was incredible. It looks like he's got kind of a new little bit of freedom without having to coach the boys, and Ned McHenry having taken over there. He can just kind of focus on his own game and lead from the front. And
Tex obviously as an assistant as well. He'd still be controlling what he controls, but just being able to go out at the latter end of your career, it's probably fair to say, and have some fun. And to speak to PAC, it was a 3, 22, 37 and ultimately 41-point margin. Sounds like they controlled it all day, but the notes I got from the great Jad Gosson, he does a wonderful job. It was actually 7 points of difference in the third quarter, and then PAC did what good PAC teams of the past do. They got momentum, they kicked 7 in a row and broke the game open. Yeah,
it sounds like they were all over it. To be fair, I think I think they were from the bits and pieces that I saw from that game as well. They were all over it. Broadview challenge, but too good in the end. PAC.
Fantastic. All right, now, we love our Jag Meatworks snag of the day. Now, how far out was this kick, Lachie? We've heard rumours, we've heard innuendo from the ground. How far out is this kick that we're going to have a look at in a sec?
Well, I've heard...
Was he 112 metres out?
Well, I've heard he actually kicked it from the full back line, so he just went the full length of the field.
It was on top of the Broadview Club room. No, we think it's about 60 metres out. It's after the siren as well. Scott Bentley, you star, Jag Meatworks snag of the day. Let's have a look.
All of probably 50 to 55 potentially.
We saw Pitt with a kick like very, very similar to this earlier in this corner.
It's not a bad effort, but is it going to make the distance? Is it going all the way? It's gone all the way! What a goal!
Alrighty, only one thing left to do. Let's have a look at our Player of the Year votes, please. Lachie, go.
Yeah, of course, for the high five e-bike, we've got Craig Pitt with 3, Will Schmidt with 2, and Hugo Kelly ended up with 1 vote as well.
All played great games. Well done to those boys. Our next game was attended by the great man Lachie Gould, just putting the dulcet tones all over this. Absolute ripper that I think we both tipped. When you tip against the Premiers and get it right, you give yourself a little self-high-five. It was Sacred Heart 8-9-57, Port District 7-12-54. Another close game for Port District. But it was that man, Brad Agnew, who was the absolute star in your mind, mate. Tell us a bit about his game.
Yeah, he was really good. He controlled it from the back line and was able to set up multiple movements for his team going forward. But, I mean, he was helped with it by a number of players. But he was, for us, at least a star.
Yep. The goal kickers, it was Connor Gloyce with 3 and Tristan Kakaro with 2. Kakaro, I think, didn't play at the end of the season last year, just when Shock lost that form on. I think he's a very, very important player for them. Grubby Gray with a couple for Dizzies. Mate, you were at the game, just to take us through. It's a 3-point game. Margins didn't get out big at all. 12 points at quarter, 5 at half, 10 at three-quarter time. Ultimately winning by 3 points. Where was the game run and won, please, mate?
Well, the game was won. Funnily enough, Alex Collotto got sent off midway through the last quarter, and they were down to
yellow or red?
Red. So they were down to 17. And when he went off, the absolute just kind of galvanization that gave Sacred Heart, they were able to kind of just gel together. Port Districts, it was in the commentary box. We thought it was a foregone conclusion. They were about 8 points behind. We thought they'd run over the top. They didn't end up doing that. They hit the front multiple times. Sacred Heart ended up being in front when the final whistle went. But they were really, really good considering they were playing with 17 men. And yeah, it was a great game of footy all round. Windy conditions, really, really windy. It was hard. It was hard to play in because the ball just kept swirling around in the air.
Is it the senior school or down the bay near the ocean? Got that ocean breeze coming through. Brilliant. Hey, let's look at Port side for a little bit. I see you've rated Joey Haynes very highly. What sort of role did he play? Was he down back still?
Yeah, down back. Kind of just, again, very similar to Agnew setting up the play from the back line for Port District. But it was interesting to see his game as well. Was able to fly for the ball, take some marks, and able when they were kicking with the wind to really root that ball up the ground and give it a big long hoof.
Yeah,
he hit I think he hit the centre square multiple times. So yeah.
So he's taking the kickouts as well, wasn't
he
he?
was. Yeah.
Takes his little 10, gets the stat, and gets the dream team points, and sends it long. And when you got guys like Scooter Lysette and the likes down there to kick it too, it's not bad. Let's look at some of the better players for Port District: Haynes, Grubby Gray, Kenny Carpenter, Goldie, and Rose. Whilst for shocks, others that don't appear in the actual votes: Cam Keel, Hunter Window. I've said that expect him to be somewhere near an e-bike by the end of the year. Young Dewhurst and Coop Brinkworth were all very good. But the votes, mate, you did the votes. Do you remember them?
Yeah, I do. I've got them written up. So Agnew, Keel, and Haynes. So Agnew with 3, Keel with 2, and Haynes had the 1 as well.
Sorry for a question without notice. Cameron Keel's not a name that I know. Tell me a bit about him.
Yeah, so a bit of an in and under midfielder, and was able to really just throw his body into uncomfortable positions, but he was really quick with his hands, got it up nice and quickly. So it was good to watch him. Able to run as well, so does have a little bit of speed to burn, but a really well-rounded midfielder for them.
Yeah, I think all you can do, don't want to stick the fork into Sacred Heart with the 5 consecutive finals losses. All you can do is get yourself there and have another crack. And at the moment, they really look like a good thing to be there towards a long way to go. But I think they might just get another shot in September to arrest some of their wrongs.
Yeah, hopefully they do. They're a really, really good team.
Yeah, they certainly are. All right, on to our next one. And look, we said this one would be incredibly close, and it was. And the upset happened. I'm calling it upset because we both had Golden Grove at the top end of our ladders this year. It was the Spocky boys at Caterer, 9-20-74. Golden Grove, 10-8-68. The man in focus is number 54, Henry Nelligan, mate. 9 goals, 20, but they still got the job done.
Yeah, look, 9 goals, 20 isn't ideal. Yeah, right. But they got the job done in the end. Probably could have won it by a lot more than they did. But, you know, you win a game of footy, you move on, and you bank the 2 points, and you play next week. Yeah, let's do the goal kickers. It was the heartbreak kid, Nick Michaels. I'm still stuck in WrestleMania mode. He kicked 4. I love Nick Michaels because he's come through the ranks and the Bs and that, and it's good to see him succeed. Johnny Reid kicked a couple. The big boys from Golden Grove hit the scoreboard. Lenny Pascoe with 3 and Shentz with 2. Interesting. So just some of the statistics as well. 29 scoring shots, Spock. 18 to Golden Grove. So you can't say anything but Spock deserved to win. Mm-hmm. And then the last quarter, they just wanted to make it interesting, kicking 2 goals, 10. Yeah, 2 goals, 10.
Not ideal.
Less than ideal.
Yes. Some of those better players for Spock, Michaels, Belpero, Ed Allen, the captain, he's always good. Nelligan and McGill. For Golden Grove, McKelvey, Pittman, he wakes up, he's in the best players. That's the kind of level he's at. Sam Duke, the big defender from Nord, and Schwert. Also good to see Lamb Simon play his first game for Golden Grove. One of the ones as well, I mean, you spoke and met with Mick O'Leary earlier in the year. Mick's quote to me when I rang him was, what we need to do this year, Tommy, is we need to bank some early wins. And if we can just find a way to win those close ones, we're a different team that can fight for finals. Well, they've done that. They've banked an early win and they've won a close one. So that's big for them, isn't it? Yeah,
there's probably 8 teams fighting for finals, and they are right in that slot for 9. Actually, I'll correct that myself. Yeah. 9 teams.
I was going to correct you, mate. Yeah. I think there's 9 teams fighting for finals, and there's one team still trying to find their feet, who we'll talk about in a minute. I think we might have already talked about him, but it is what it is. So let's have a look at the votes. Josh Harble, I'm not going to say for our second favourite Harble, but I do love Joshy. Interesting story about Josh Harble. Got his licence at age 28. Real driving achiever.
Really? Wow, there you go, 28.
There's a stat for no reason at all. 2 votes Ben McGill, 1 vote to Henry Nelligan. All right, good luck. Well played, both teams. I think they're both going to be anyone on their day. That's my take on these 2 teams.
Yeah, I agree. I think when they're playing good footy, they'll beat anyone. When they're playing their worst footy, though, it might come to bite them a little bit. Yep,
100%, mate. And our last game of the round, I was at this one. Certainly, till half time. It was Ross Trevor 9-16-70, Glenunga 10-11-71. The Rams get it done by a point. The player in footage we will have a look at ultimately is Declan Fay. But before we do that, hold up there, Darcy. Don't put Declan on just yet. Because the last minute of this game was phenomenal. Now, I was there in the first half, and I left saying Ross Trevor have won. They're going to win. They were up by 19 points at half time. All over Glenunga like Tommy Javor on cake. But every kid's dream is that kick, that last kick of the day. And this is unbelievably cool by Alex Coots. It's Xavier Tranfer, a former Nord player, who takes a mark 40 metres out. Has a shot. Now, Tony Neal facetiously will make the call that he finds someone in the pocket. He miskicks it, and Finn Wakeland gets the check side. After the siren, the Rocks 2 point down for the win.
Xavier Tranfer! He comes in! And he's missed it! Oh,
set play.
Oh my God, it's
Finn
not.
Wakeland. Oh, the siren.
And the siren goes. Finn Wakeland. Oh my God. Finn Wakeland has hit the post after the siren. Glenunga escaped with a 1-point win. Oh my, what a game we got.
Yeah, I mean, it really is every kid's dream to kick that winning goal, but Finn wasn't quite able to get it done there. How good was he aside from that, though, Tommy?
Well, in the first half, he was the best player on the ground. His ability to leap vertically and seemingly hang in the air, I don't want to say like Michael Jordan, but that's kind of what it was like. He just hovered. He was best man on the ground the first half. Not his fault, they didn't win, but I was really surprised. They're up by 19 points, Rocks, and I thought they would have won by more. We better have a look at some of Decky's Fay footage because he was absolutely outstanding. And it was Ross Trevor by 10, 19, 12, going down by a point. They had more scoring shots, so disappointing. At half-time, 7-6 to 4-5. From that point on, another team that's kicked 2 goals, 10. Generally, you don't win games when you kick 2 goals, 10.
No, very, very rare to win games when you kick 2 goals, 10.
Yes, 4 Rocks, better players. Darcy best. Butterworth in ruck was outstanding. Shoot, and as I mentioned, Finn Wakeland. For the Rams, captain Nick Eager. He's a good-looking rooster, that man. Decky Fay, a big cross kick 3 and was very good. And Temi, and along with, they always put him in the best players just to test me. Carlo Vasidis was fantastic. Goal kickers, which I didn't touch on. Lazzoni 3, McCormack 2 for Rocks. And the return of the big bear, Abe Davis kicking 3. That's huge for the Rams, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a giant of the game, the back-to-back Keith Sims medalist. So there's a reason he's so good at this game, and he's a massive in for the Rams.
Yeah, no, he is, and playing a lot deeper than we've seen previously. As a midfielder, sitting deep, grazing the cage, but you might need to match up on him pretty closely, whoever's got them next week. One other one that Tony Neal sent me through, and a big shout out to Alex Coots and Tony Neal on commentary. I loved going back and watching and listening to it, and the excitement in Alex Coots. Young Bruce McAvaney, that's what I'm calling it now. He's a star.
Yeah, he's got some real talent. I've called some wheelchair footy with him before, and he's an absolute ripper.
He can play too. Don't worry about that. Kicked a couple of goals in the grand, scored a couple of goals in the grand final. So, big shout out as well. Got sent this one through. Ethan Smith's parents, former Broadview Tiger, now Glenunga Ram, travelled 15 hours from a place I've never heard of. So I'm probably going to say it wrong. Garongong. Ever heard of that?
Nah.
Me neither. Right, but it's 15 hours away apparently, or it might be 7.5 hours. 15-hour round trip. I'm not sure. They don't miss a game. I watched his son play and shout out. That's what community footy is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is, and it's good. It's good to see them, go down and have a bit of a look at their kid. And from all accounts, he played well too.
Yes. Let's look at the votes. 1 vote, Darcy Best from the Rocks. Best defender on the ground on the day was Jesse Temi down back, and Decky Fay, that man that scored the 3 votes. So that was last week's games, mate. But this week's games, of course, when we speak of round 3. Lachie, we speak of the Real Stakes round.
Of course, support your mates, not the stakes.
Visit realstakes.com.au. We thank them for their support. We better just have a quick look at the ladder though, and it's a bit of symmetry about it. It's starting to take a bit of shape because the Shock and PAC, the college boys on top 2-0. Rocks, Salisbury North, Spock, Port, Golden Grove, Glenunga, all 1-1. I was at a game yesterday running water, and someone yelled out, "Hey Tommy, you seen that Div 1 logjam? 1-1s?" So that's like, I'll mention that on the show, mate. So there is a big logjam between 3rd and 8th, and then PNU 0 and 2, Broadies 0 and 2. So interesting to see 4 of the 5 top teams in all college teams. I'm sure they'll sort itself out, but and Port not in the 5.
Yeah, Port not in the 5 as of right now. Obviously, if had a goal gone their way yesterday, they would have been, but it wasn't to be. So 0-2 and 1-1. 1-1, thank you, and very, very close to being 2-0, but it wasn't to be.
0 and 2, yes. 2-0 is very, very close being both ways.
Yeah, it was.
So that ladder, it's again like looking at the bottom 5: Port, Golden Grove, Glenunga, PNU. There's your top 4 from last year. So it is still very early days, but it does make interesting reading.
Absolutely does.
Good luck tipping this week, mate. I found this very hard. I was scratching up my head last night a fair bit. Let's start with PNU, Spock, Morris, Christantic and Kelly, all key ins for Payneham Norwood Union. Who's your tip?
Well, it could be a very, very tight game. I'm going to go with PNU though.
I've got no idea. I've got no idea in this one. I've got Spock circled, but the ins, I've talked myself, and PNU at home, 0-3 is a long way back. They have to win. I expect a ferocious, and they were good on the weekend. I expect a ferocious PNU. And Spock people, a few of them don't like me anyway. They'll say, "You never tip us." Well, prove me wrong. Port and Broadies is probably the only one I don't have too much trouble tipping.
Yeah, I think Port pretty comfortably here.
Yep. Port at home as well, so it'll be great for the Largs Legends to get around them. The college battle, this one's very, very interesting for me. Your mob PAC, they are taking all before them, taking on Ross Trevor, who I watched in the first half and I thought was sensational.
Yeah, stream team game this one, so it's going
it?
to be interesting to get up there and have a bit of a look. But I think it'll be PAC just.
Yeah, I'll take PAC. I'm a real believer in tipping the form teams, and when you got form, I'll tip you. Glenunga and Salisbury North, I'll just throw to you for this one, mate.
Yeah, Glenunga, unfortunately, there, Tommy. I haven't tipped you 3 times, and it might bite me.
It's at Webb Oval. Again, they lost their round 1 at Webb Oval, but won the previous 25, I think, at Webb Oval. So pretty good home ground form. I wasn't there for the second half. I watched some of it, but they found a way. They're still a very strong galvanised team. It's very, very hard to tip against Glenunga, I'll just say that. And last one, Golden Grove and Shock. I think our tips will vary here. You'll be surprised with who you're tipping.
Yeah, I'm going to tip Shock.
Yeah. So based on everything I've just said, you always tip with the form team. I'm taking Golden Grove at home. I think they match up well against Spock. Interesting to see you've mentioned it, so I'm going to follow on with it. It'll be interesting to see if Colotto plays. And yeah, I just think Golden Grove, they've got a very big, tall team. If it's dry, they win for sure. At this stage, it does look like it's going to be dry. So I'll take the Kookaburras. What a Div 1 wrap, mate. What a great round 2 it's been. Looking forward to an even bigger round 3 on the field, certainly. Thanks for joining me, Lachie.
No, anytime, Tommy. Really appreciate it.
We'll be back with more Between the Posts.
Do you belong in a role that drives you? In a community that makes you proud? In a team that brings out your best? You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
Well, it's time to talk women's footy, and how good is it to be back after the break? And we are, of course, at the Gully Hotel once again. How good is it here? You can come here for a beer, you can have a function here, come here with your family, or come here to film your favourite footy show, whatever you like to do. I'm Beck Northcott, and you know what? Let's just get straight into the Women's Division 1 BTR Excavations wrap. Let's get right into the game that I was most looking forward to seeing, and that is Payneham versus the Goodwood Saints. Now, this was at Payneham, and boy, did Payneham make a statement here, running out winners by 45 points. Now, Payneham 9-11-65 defeated Goodwood 3-20. Now, I thought this one might be a little bit closer, but Payneham said, no way, we are the reigning premiers. So let's have a look at how it all happened. Well, they kicked 2 goals for in the first quarter, leaving Goodwood Saints scoreless. And then they just carried on from there in their Payneham fashion, just absolutely killing it. Well, message received, Payneham are here and they're ready to go back to back. And they really put it to bed in the third term, where they kicked 4 goals for to Goodwood's 1 goal. They're just really getting it at the moment. Payneham, they got the job done, but let's see who kicked those goals. Chloe Samuel kicked off with 3. She's having a great season in front of goal, so we've got to keep an eye out for Chloe when we're looking at our leading goal kickers later in the season. Alice Tentai kicked 3 as well. Georgina Birchall kicked 2, and Letitia Ackland kicked 1. Best on for Payneham was Alice Tentai. For Goodwood Saints, well, their goals came from Jess Trier, Asha Lodge and Emma White. And Maddie Griffiths, so reliable, she was the best on. Now, after a strong round 1, Goodwood were clearly tested by a better Payneham side on the day. Plenty of learnings for them to come from this game, but you know, it's Goodwood. They're a solid side. They've got a great team. I don't think they'd be too worried. Just, you know, some things to tinker with, things to work on. And as we know, it's only round 2, and there's plenty of great things happening at the club as well. And you know what? Their Rezzies are killing it. They had a massive 79-point win over Payneham. So they've got the depth there. They've got the girls knocking down the door, ready to go. For Payneham, well, they moved to 2-0 and just kick off their season really well. They know they're just on top of their game at the moment, and that's a nice convincing win for them against Goodwood, who's a team they were probably, a little bit worried about, but knew they could get it done. Now, let's move on to our next game in Division 1, Golden Grove versus Henley. And this is two teams who had lost in round 1, so we're both looking for their first win. And it was Henley who got it done, and very convincingly so, defeating Golden Grove by 100 points. 16-18, 114 to 2-14. That's right, 16 goals to the Sharks. Just absolutely killing it are the Henley Sharks. So, that's how you shake off a loss from the week before. And the goals, of course, were coming from everywhere. Eliza Cooper with 3, Tegan Dunbar with 3, Ellie Fixer with 2, Steph Rayner with 2, Jordan Steinbeck with 2, Demi Bates with 1, Lara Chihardi with 1, Karina Del Borello with 1, Ellie Godevsky with 1, and whew, you heard that. That is 9 different goal scorers. They were just coming from everywhere. And it was Eliza Cooper who took out the best on for the Sharks. And what a great day out it was for the Sharks. On the Golden Grove side, it was Taylor Anderson and Ruby Dunt with the goals for them. And the talented Demi Sonneman was named best on. Now, a little bit of a rough day for Golden Grove, still looking for their first win. Hopefully things all start coming together in the next few matches. I know that they've got the players there who can get the job done. For Henley, they'd be happy, of course, with their first win of the season. They know they can kick a big score in Division 1, and they would just be looking ahead from here, keep this momentum, keeping them on the way up. Now over to match 3 of the round, and it was a really tight contest between Hectorville and Broadview, which saw Hectorville take the points, and it was an 11-point win to Heckies, 5-6-36, defeating Broadview 3-7-25. And they came right out of the gate, did Hectorville, 3 goals, 3 in the first term to Broadview's 1 goal. It was a bit more of an arm wrestle for the rest of the game, but that early lead from Hectorville probably just proved a bit too much, and they were able to just hold on, and that's an impressive win for Hectorville. Now, they found their goals through Grace, and I mean that literally. Grace Whitaker kicked 2 goals, and Grace Mulverhill kicked 1. Also goals from Jessie Venn and Taylor Roberts. Taylor Roberts was named their best player. For Broadies, it was Kellis Jackson Martin with 2 goals, and the ever-reliable Remy Grant with a goal as well. Jasmine Dallymore got the coach's votes for Broadies. Now, this is a great win for Hectorville against last year's grand finalists. A really good win for them to say, we're here in Division 1. And so I think a great moment for them. I hope that they really enjoyed that and can build some great confidence from it. And it was a close one at the Valley. Happy Valley, that is, to finish us off. After leading at every break against Morphettville Park, Happy Valley held off a 3 goals to 1 point comeback in the last term to just hold on to that 3-point win. Happy Valley 4-7-31 defeated Morphettville Park 4-4-28. Whilst a little bit wasteful in front of goals, Happy Valley got the job done, taking them to 2 straight wins. It is a great start for their season back in Division 1 and just, reminding themselves what Div 1 footy is like and getting it done. Their best on Lily Jinks kicked a goal, as did Maddie Bennett, and Emily Smith, she kicked 2. Morphettville Park saw goals from their captain Tess Maple, Lindsay Bigg, Melinda Speechley and Brooke Trevina. Their best on was Gianna Zarella, better known as Jay-Z, who is a handy addition to this Ruse side. She's come there from Norwood. She's a really strong player in their development side, played a bit of league as well, so I think she's going to add some class to this team. That's a great pickup for them. But it's Happy Valley who had the great win this time, and they're finding themselves, as I said, back in Division 1, so let's see if they can keep it up. The Roos, we know they've got the talent there down at Morphettville Park, and I think it will all come together for them in the next few weeks. They've got plenty of experienced girls down there, and I think they all know what they're doing, and the wins will start to come. Now, it's probably a bit early to take too much from the ladder in Div 1, but we'll just have a quick look at it. We've of course got On the top, Payneham and Happy Valley both there with the 2 wins, no losses yet. So they're doing well, killing it so far. Then we look to the middle of the ladder. We've got Henley, Broadview, Goody Saints and Hectorville all on that 1-1, 50-50. So plenty of room to just keep getting the wins from there. And then down towards the bottom, we've got Morpheville Park and Golden Grove. They're still looking for their first win of the season, but those things will come. And looking ahead to round 3, well, one of those teams is definitely going to get their first win because Morpheville Park and Golden Grove will face off at Kellett Reserve for round 3. Henley will host Hectorville, Goodwood and Happy Valley will face off at Goodwood, and the grand final rematch between Broadview and Payneham will be at Broadview. So there's some great matches out there to see in the Women's Div 1 League. Check your times in Play HQ. Get out there and have a look at some women's footy. It is always a great vibe, great teams, great players out there. It's the best. Go and have a look. Now, we're going to have a quick look around the grounds. You know I love to do this, and you know what I love the most. It is gals kicking goals. Now, this week my shout-out has to go to Belinda Payne from the Tea Tree Gully Football Club in Division 6. It's fitting that we're at the Gully today and we're talking about Tea Tree Gully. Now, Belinda Payne, well, she's kicked a huge 9 goals this week. Absolutely killing it. And of course, well, she got best on as well. You can't not when you've got a girl kicking 9 snags out there. They, of course, got a really solid win in Division 6. So well done to Belinda. Just keep going, girl. Keep kicking those goals. And I hope you're putting some ice on that kicking boot this afternoon. Now, we also had a little bit of a spy out in Division 5 for Kilburn versus Salisbury North. And from what I hear, Salisbury North were absolutely going off. 14 goals, 5. How is the accuracy there? I talk about this all the time in terms of kicking. Well, we've got girls out there kicking 14 goals against Kilburn, who unfortunately didn't score. But Salisbury North, from what I'm hearing, it may be from TJ, it might be not from TJ, it's definitely from TJ. Salisbury North girls were killing it. They got some of their great players back from the central development side in the Sandful, got a lot of confidence, got a lot of speed, and a real turnaround from when they played Kilburn earlier in the season for a trial match and didn't get the win. So well done there to Salisbury North, and you know, we heard that the vibe in the winners' song was just absolutely great. So we love to see that in Division 5 for Salisbury North. Now, before we finish, you might have noticed my outfit and you are dying for Beck to do a fit check. Beck, where are you getting this stuff from? Well, of course, it's from Custom by ORTC. Look at this beautiful embroidery. They can do it all. Do you want some custom stuff for your team, for your club, anything you've got going on? Contact Custom by ORTC. They will get you all sorted. Well, that is all for this week. Of course, if you see anything going on around in Division 1, feel free to slide into my DMs. I would love to talk about it on the show. You know, I love to get around my Div 1 women's footy. But that's all for now. I'll see you next week.
Welcome back to Between the Posts, and it's time for the Farmers Leap Coach of the Week. It's a Div 6 nomination, so thank you to Jad Gosson for the nomination. And it's Matt Seltzer from the St. Paul's Old Scholars. He is our Farmers Leap Coach of the Week. Matt is in his second year coaching St. Paul's Old Scholars. He's a professional life coach by trade. The boys say he's a great communicator and always leads by example. St. Paul's sitting 2-0 going into a huge game against Rosewater this week. He's doing a great job, Matt Seltzer, and rightfully has been awarded our Farmers Leap Coach of the Week. And welcome to Between the Post Division 6 report time with our expert, Jad Gosson.
Yes, glad to be back for another year doing the Division 6 expert and doing the Division 6 wrap. It's going to be a good year for the Adelaide Footy League in Division 6, I think.
Yeah, so just out-tipping many of those so-called experts online as well already, just quietly early in the year, Jad, doing great things, mate. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so we'll start off with the ladder. It's only 2 rounds in, so starting to take shape, but still a bit early as well. Ingle Farm, Fitzroy, Rosewater and St Paul's 2-0, undefeated so far. In 5 and 6 are Howden District and Blackfriars sitting at 1-1. And the 4 teams who haven't won yet, we'll get into more details about them later, but O'Sullivan Beach, Lonsdale, Para Hills, Adelaide Lutheran and West Croydon.
Yeah, Para Hills, St Mine, a couple of unlucky losses. Well, maybe not unlucky, but very, very competitive. And O'Sullivan's Beach also, the 2 relegated, 2 promoted teams. I think no need for panic stations there. They're playing some good footy.
Yeah, for sure. We'll go into Para Hills a bit more detail. We had them tipped to make the grand final earlier, so interesting to see how they go.
I had them as my smoky.
You had them smoky.
I've got Ingle Farm and Fitzroy for my grand final.
Yes, yeah. Well, I think I had them as a grand final. So yeah, 0-2 start, losing to Ingle Farm and Blackfriars, but 2 strong teams in Division 6. And we predicted them to make the finals, and they've lost to teams against that we think were making the finals as well. So still a long way to go. As you mentioned, they've been playing decently. They got good players in their books. Well-run club. They'll be back up, I'm sure.
And it seems to transfer to. I don't want to steal your thunder. You're probably going to talk about goal kickers later, but Weetra's kicking goals. They've got a strong. They've got depth. So and great things. And I put it at the start of the show to see those Para Hills boys out at a dawn service. They're galvanised. They're a team that's connected with community. So I just like the club and I rate the club and I think they're going places.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of the positive side of this league, 4 undefeated teams in round 2, Ingle Farm, Fitzroy, Rosewater and St Paul's. The surprise I'd say out of those ones is Rosewater. They've beaten Adelaide Lutheran and O'Sullivan beats Lonsdale, so some good wins there. Hard draw coming up, however, but they've got the confidence now to keep it up. Next 3 matches are St Paul's, Houghton District and Fitzroy, so definitely some big teams there and some big matchups. But yeah, they have the confidence now. They know how to find a win if they need to, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they go the next few weeks.
2 undefeated teams in round 3, St Paul's and Rosewater. That's a great game, and we'll really find out a little bit about where those 2 teams are at. St Paul's, of course, finished 4th last year. I expected them to improve, but I've tipped them to finish 4th again. So plenty of logic going on there. But they're baking every post to win on Anzac Day at Houghton. Not an easy scalp to get.
Yeah, for sure. The other teams we'll look at now are the 2 teams sitting at 1-1. Houghton District, as you mentioned, and Blackfriars, Old Scholars. Blackfriars lost to Fitzroy by 18 points, beat Para Hills by 6 points. So a couple of games there decided by only a few goals. As for Houghton Districts, they beat West Croydon by 69 points. Lost round 2 to St Paul's by 32 points. So a bit of a mixed bag there, but both teams, as I mentioned, with the other professional outfits, they have experienced players, and they'll be pushing for the final spots in the finals, I think, coming up later in the year.
Yeah, it's always good to get that first one off and 1-1, you can build on that.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at the goal kickers now, I do love the goal kickers.
You do. You really do, don't you?
Yes.
That's why you're a Tommy Javor fan. You like the couple.
Exactly.
Go on, mate.
It's always good part of the game to see the goals go through. Both these players got 100 goals last season. They've started off really well. Trevor Rigney, 14 goals already, 6 in round 1, 8 in round 2 for Sullivan Beach Lonsdale. And Daniel Weetra from Para Hills, as you mentioned, 12 goals, 4 in round 1, 8 again in round 2. So both of them getting 8 in round 2. They're going to be going goal for goal all season, and definitely be interesting as they get, so you can win them the prize.
Shout out to those 2 boys as well, because I know they got offers from high division clubs, and to stick with the clubs as they come up the division, that's great, and speaks volumes to just how strong the connection is amongst these Div 6 clubs.
Yeah, for sure. And they got the 100 goals, of course, in Division 7, showing their worth in Division 6.
Question without notice, who's kicking more this year, Weetra or Rigney?
It's a tricky one. I'll go with Weetra just because maybe Para Hills will be slightly better than O'Sullivan Beach, but they're both great clubs, so it's going to be tricky. I know Rigney got more last year.
And of course, he got Mark of the Year last year.
And Mark of the Year, yeah, can do it all. Sticking with a bit of the goal scorers, St Paul's Old Scholars, 4 players in the top 12 for goal kickers, so we'll go through them quickly. Ned Buckerfield, their new signing, 8 goals. Anthony Alessiani, the pair, 8 goals.
Did you just call him the pair?
The pair.
Okay,
yes,
he'll get it. He'll know it, yeah. Good research, CJ.
Sean Gibbs, 6 goals, and Glenn Gibbs, 5 goals, showing their attacking weapons, sharing the load up forward, and Matt Seltzer's got them ticking along nicely, as you mentioned.
Yeah, they're just impressing me. And I'm a St Paul's old scholar, so I've got a little bit, certainly some contacts that I speak to about the team, and they're excited, they're confident. Their trial game form was good, so they're onwards and upwards.
Yeah, and looking forward to the key fixtures upcoming. They've got a big game next week as well.
They certainly do, mate. Thanks for putting me on the spot there. They take on Rosewater at St Paul's College. You could do worse things to head on down to 792 Grand Junction Road and get your Certa Bonum Certimen scarves out. That's their Latin phrase for fight the good fight.
There you go.
And it might be just time that St Paul's take the next step in their football pathway.
Yes, and I'm impressed you know the address as well.
Oh, I went to school there for 8 years, so it's right around the corner from my house. So.
And other key fixtures, I put you on the spot because that's round 3. I want to talk about round 4. Some really good fixtures round 4. Para Hills versus O'Sullivan Beach Lonsdale. Both haven't got a win yet, and it's also the Division 7 grand final rematch, so definitely one to look out for. Fitzroy versus St Paul's. In that one, both undefeated so far. Obviously, round 4, we'll see if they still are. And the other one, West Croydon, Adelaide Lutheran. 2 teams struggling at the moment, but someone's got to get a win there, so it's going to be interesting who can try and push for a victory.
I hope both teams have a good day that day, but for mine, I think that'll be Adelaide Lutheran. We're still 2 weeks away. I think West Croydon are going to be in for a tough year. Yeah,
so that sums up my wrap. It's another good year for Division 6 football. And we'll see how we go, progress. And when next time I'm on the show, we'll have a bit more of a better idea about where the season's looking and how the ladder's shaping up.
Yeah, I think probably around the June long weekend, my friend, probably around round 8, and I think we'll have a real good look at on who's doing what and who's going where. So now, mate, before you go, Gully Hotel,
Yes.
How good is it? So I feel bad that I've got the coffee and you haven't got one, mate. But
okay.
you have to sort that out.
Yeah.
What are you going to hang around? What's on the menu for you today, mate?
Probably a burger or something. Schnitzel, we'll see. The Gully Hotel, local to me as well. It's only 5 minutes away, and I come here often.
Beautiful.
Such a great place. The beer gardens are wonderful. The footy's on the big screen. It's lovely.
You could do worse things than to crack a couple of Kieran Hire Ketsus as well.
For sure.
What a drop! Had my first one of them the other night, and I'm hooked responsibly.
Yes.
Jad, as always, you've been outstanding, mate. I love having you on the show. I love your in-depth analysis. We'll actually probably see you again because you're doing Div 7. You were so good with 6 last year, and so look forward to seeing you again. Stay with us. We'll be back with more Between the Posts. Welcome to Between the Posts, and of course it's time for What Caught Our Eye. Edgy. All right, mate, we've got a Div 7 specialist here in Jad Gosson, so we might as well start in the 7th Division, my friend.
Yeah, I've got a bit of theme for some of the divisions here for the What Caught Our Eye. In Division 7, Glenn Draper, 16 goals in 2 games so far, so definitely knows how to find the big sticks, as well as Elizabeth starting undefeated after a historic season last year. They've
For all the wrong reasons, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I had something very similar just on Elizabeth. Elizabeth and Hackham, they're looking like the 2 best sides at the minute. Smithfield are struggling. Flinders Uni bounced back from that big loss last week, and Brabham Lodge and Central United played out an 18-point game.
Lovely, boys. And for me, what caught my eye was that there's 3 undefeated teams. Going into round 3, 2 of those teams meet each other. We're really going to see a bit of a tale. Of course, it's Hackham versus Brahma Lodge. Just looking at some of the stars of those teams. For Hackham, Luke Allen. Matt Spencer, the super recruit, and Glenn Draper, as you've just mentioned, 16 from 2 games. Whilst for Brahma Lodge, Zach Graham, who's played some Div 1A grade, Div 2A grade. Trent Payne, the son of a gun, and Deacon Teefy, former North Adelaide junior. Some really good matchups there, some really interesting football, and I think Hackham will just let the comp know that they're the real deal this year with a win in that one. Div 6, please. You're the expert in Div 6, Jad. You better start us off.
That's right, the export goes first. We'll go with last season, these 2 guys had 100 goals in the season. They both started off really great. Trevor Rigney, 14 goals in 2 games. Daniel Reacher, 12 goals in 2 games. Both of them kicking 8 in round 2, so definitely a shootout there for the top prize again in that division.
Yeah, absolutely. I had some massive wins as well. Ingle Farm 22-19, 151. West Croydon 2-3-15. Fitzroy 23-10, 148. And Adelaide Lutheran was 6-8, 44. So some big wins. Nearly over 150 points in the first game and 100 points in the second. Para Hills Adelaide, Luther and West Croydon, they're looking like the teams that might be in some trouble. Ingle Farm, Fitzroy and Rosewater are looking the goods.
Yeah, so I've got a bit of a theme as well where possible, and it's the actual Anzac Day games played on Anzac Day. And there was a one that really stood out for me in Div 6. It was St Paul's 18-11, Houghton Districts 13-9. A really solid win there for St Paul's, but doesn't really speak to their dominance, leading by 47 points at quarter time, 59 points at half time. So it's 13-4 to 3-5. The game was run and won. And some good names. Of course, Jimmy Hendricks in there as always. He's a superstar, Riley Hendricks. And Sean Gibbs kicking 4. And I think St Paul's might be a little bit better than people expected this year. I'm expecting some big things. We'll roll straight into my what caught our eye in Division 5 because it was another Anzac Day game. And the result actually surprised me, the size of the result. Greenacres 22-13, 145, Salisbury 11-6, 72. Steve and Ryan Clark kicking 4 each there for the Dragons. And interesting one for me as well, boys. Probably a bit of a talking point. A Div 5 club in Greenacres playing with 14 points. So they've obviously recruited well. They've won the two. They've come from 7 and 5, had a year in 5, and they've identified they need to bring in some recruits. And I mean, you can only say full credit for resourcing and doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you really can. They've done a fantastic job there. I would go out and recruit and get what they needed to get a good win.
Yeah, you've been the expert in 6 and 7. I don't think we've ever seen a team in the lower divisions play with 14 points, have we?
I can't think of it recently, no. And Greenacres have been, a well-run club for a while. That's the reason they've been getting promoted. So fair play.
Sam Bam. So it's just a bit of a talking point I thought we'd jump on it. But get on to your what caught your eye in Div 5, mate.
Yeah, so Portland bounced back. They beat Pulteney by 12 points, and Marion obviously had a massive win as well. 15-11, 105. Gaza 2-11, 23. They're in some trouble. Had the Greenacres result as well. They're looking good along with Marion and Eastern Park as well.
Yeah, for mine, continuing on the theme, Joel Aish, 5 goals in round 1, 5 goals in round 2, seeing if he can continue a streak going forward. Yeah,
he's certainly been a prolific goal scorer for Pulteney over the years and knows how to find the 6, a star of a footballer. Good spot there, Jadda. I think we're all going to have the same in Division 4 because there was a unique phenomenon. Take us through Div 4, please, Jad.
Yeah, for the segment's called What Caught Our Eye, this definitely caught my eye straight away. All the teams in this game, all the games were within 6 points, so crazy to have a league that close and just shows how good the Adelaide Footy League is.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, it was 17 points the difference across the entire game, so there was really no variation at all. Well, I did mention though Walkerville and Colonel Light Gardens, they look good. They look good so far. They're undefeated, but I mean, still so much of the season to go.
Yeah, obviously my theme being Anzac Day games. There were 3 Anzac Day games, all thrillers, which is exactly what you want. Anzac spirit shown. Colonel Light, Walkies and Kenilworth getting the chocolates in those games. Now, Div 3. My Anzac Day game was Scotch 10-22-82. Scott Ford Spriggs, the absolute star. Hope Valley 7-8-50. It's hard to see where their first win might come from. What do you boys got for what caught our eye?
Yeah, Hope Valley. Seaton Ramblers also in some bad positions at the minute. Kilburn, they were defeated pretty heavily by Kilburn. 17-11, 113 to Seaton, 6-11, 47. But Kilburn and North Haven looking good as well.
Yeah, for me, just talking about how evenly matched this division as well. 6 out of the 10 teams have started the season 1-1, so just shows again the quality there.
Yes, now a couple of us has referenced Kilburn. The Chicks, the boys from Chicago, going for 3 in a row. 72-point win over Seaton. I was there for it. They're too old, they're too slow, but they're just too good. Let's have a look at the Chicks giving a real stirring rendition of their club song. Oh, those Chicky boys. Nick Pearce, Scotty Galbraith, Danny Ryan, Dale Aegis, the gang. They're still winning games of footy.
Yeah, they are. They absolutely are. They did a really, really good job.
Yeah, it was clever tip by me saying they wouldn't win the flag this year, but you couldn't prove me wrong. We're Div 2, I'll just go. It was Henley 7-9-51, Tea Tree Gully 9-17-71. Luke Brown in the best, and when he's in the best, they tend to win. First loss in over 20 games for the Henley Sharks.
Yeah. I mean, I've got Brighton 11-8-74, Modbury 9-6-61. They bounced back after a bad loss for Athelstone. Athelstone, Tea Tree Gully and Goodwood Saints looking good there. Flinders Park, Adelaide University and Lockley's in some trouble.
Yeah, good one. For me, I had Tea Tree Gully beating Henley as well. Could be a big result come finals time. come from those top 2 spots and who gets home finals as well, yeah, that one could be a crucial one.
Yeah, for me, it's the grand final preview. The only uncertainty for me is are Athelston going to be in there instead of one of those two? Because they're the 3 that absolutely jump off the page for me. All right, and in Division 1, what caught our eye, obviously Anzac Day theme. So it was Salisbury North over PNU by 23 points. Adam Deacon winning the Anzac Day medal for Salisbury North. And for PAC, Craig Pitt was 6 outstanding, getting his mob over the line at Broadview. And 3 games on Saturday in Division 1, all decided by a goal or less.
Yeah, that was absolutely incredible. Super Saturday almost it was. It was that close, those games. Prince Alfred as well. Craig Pitt kicking 6 goals. Salisbury North first win in the division since 2017. Glenunga nearly slipped to 0-2, saved by Finn Wakeland's miss. And Paynham are 0-2. Sacred Heart, Prince Alfred looking good. Broadview and Paynham in some trouble.
For me, I had similar to you guys, but also Paynham yet to win a game, losing to both the promoted teams. I'm sure they'll bounce back, but that caught my eye.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about that one, Jad, is, and this stat got thrown to me a fair bit over the weekend, is I'm not sure the exact number, but out of about 16 of the last 20 promoted sides have made finals. And if we look back in recent times, there's not too many that haven't. I think Old Iggy's is the outlier, but your Glenungas and these types have come and had an impact. And don't be surprised if Ross Trevor and Salisbury North certainly are pushing towards it. So
yeah, Golden Grove Paynham last year.
Both of them played finals, Paynham going deep. So yeah, exactly right, spot on. So yeah, still plenty to play out. Div 1, as I always say, harder to pick than a broken nose. Thanks for watching at What Caught Our Eye. We'll be back with more next week. And welcome back to Between the Posts. One of our favourite segments is, of course, the Born to Build Mark of the Week. Let's make sure you get those marks into us. Of course, it's Darcy at filmingfooty.com.au. Nominate your club player when they take a specky. Have a look at this week's Marks of the Week.
And this will be Zach Smith kicking out. As there wouldn't be long left in the quarters. Oh my god! Fletcher Wisman. As there wouldn't be long left in the quarters. Oh my god!
McCall have got the footy. You're calling it. You're saying they're going to go all right. Ball towards a big fly. Haynes! Oh, how's he hung onto that? Ball towards a big fly. Haynes! Oh, how's he hung onto that?
Potentially.
We saw Pete with a kick like very, very similar to this earlier. Corner.
It's not a bad effort, but is it going to make the distance? Is it going all the way? It's gone all the way! What a goal! It's not a bad effort, but is it gonna make the distance? Is it going all the way? It's gone all the way! What a goal!
Well, we've come to the end. It's time for the last word, brought to you by Sapole, Lachie Gould. It's been fun, hasn't it?
Oh, it's always fun getting up here, but filming between the posts. The gully's been excellent, but it is such good fun up here.
Yeah, so you're going to tear into a gully schnitzel like Tiny Tim on a Christmas ham, no doubt, in a minute. So looking forward to that. Hey, we better make a special mention to our wonderful sponsors. We've got eBikes, the Kimberley Resort, Customs to Fit, ORTC, the Gully Hotel, and much, much more. Round 2, Anzac Day, absolutely sensational. Again, my favourite round because it's bigger than football of the year. But round 3, the real stakes round.
Yes, of course. Remember, support your mates, not the stakes.
It's that easy. Make it about the footy, make it fun. Visit realstakes.com.au. A big thanks to Jad Gosson. How good's Jad Gosson?
Oh, he's amazing. He is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, he had lots of insight.
Yeah, and I love the way that, the people out there in social media land, they have plenty of feedback for us, and Jad just keeps batting them back to him, just absolutely knocking him out, getting his tips right and getting all the scoops. So he's a good man. Where are you this week, my friend? What game are you at as the stream team?
Prince Alfred.
Yes, versus Ross Trevor.
Looking forward to that one. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, should we do those college battles? And they get into each other, those college teams. Of course, this week I'll be at Salisbury North in Glenunga at Webb Oval.
Is that another Tommy Javor Cup?
Yeah, there's about 15 of them, mate.
Yeah,
so,
I was gonna say, is there a club in Division 1 you haven't been at?
I like them all, mate. They're all great clubs. So, yeah, and I mean, Division 1 footy, the best footy competition in the world. You know, I don't worry about the other ones. I love this one. And, like, you were there on Friday for Anzac Day. I mean, it'd be hard to argue the community vibe, the community feel. And like, I'm not just talking about Salisbury North, but Paynham. The legends of Paynham, Burrows, Gary McIntosh, George Dantokia, the bearded Jim Rhoda, seeing all them and connecting with all those people. That's what we're talking about. That's Adelaide Footy. That's strengthening communities through football, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It was so good up there. Even being in the commentary box, you walk by and you're like, oh, hi, everyone's very, very nice. And it was really, really lovely up there.
It was brilliant. And of course, connecting with all our locals, it was tremendous. And it wasn't just us, it was so many grounds. In Division 5, it was Green Acres and Salisbury, I think it was. And those games were all over the place. It was great to see. So, look, mate, that's just about it for us this week. In WrestleMania terms, they say, let's go to the close, Lachie.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it for us from Between the Posts, but make sure you tune in for more next week.